Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. There's going to be a tariff reading, but a little bit different angle. According to the Constitution, Congress is the legislative body that basically regulates trade with other countries. I'm not quoting the rule or the law, chapter and verse, but basically, Trump's tariffs, Congress has the purse strings. They could be the ones who basically say, yes, you can have your tariffs, or no, you cannot. As evidenced by the vote in the Senate the other day, where the Democrats, along with the two senators from Kentucky, and Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, voted to rescind tariffs against Canada. Now, Mike Johnson has said he has no interest in bringing that to the floor in the House. But were Mike Johnson to bring that to the floor in the House and it passes the House, it would go to the president for him to sign, basically saying, stop doing this. Trump would veto it, and then he'd have to have 2/3 vote to overcome it. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of bravery going on, backbone going on in Congress right now when it comes to this. And the Senate has now announced that they're pushing forward with Trump's one big beautiful bill to give trillions of dollars in tax cuts to the ultra wealthy at the expense of pretty much everybody else. You know, as Sterling says with the aims, assess, investigate, move, and separate, and we're only in the I part, we may not have a freaking country by the time they get to the M and S part. Just saying. If you don't know what I'm referring to, it's the he is sticking to his guns, saying that there are active investigations into election interference and that this election will get rewound. It just seems too good to be true. As we circled the drain here. But I want to look at the general mood of the Republicans in the Senate. I'm not even worried about the House right now because the House is full of a bunch of psychos and fanatics. But let's look at the Republicans in the Senate. How are they handling this current situation with tariffs? And then we'll follow up to see, will they ever get on board with removing them? Okay, so this is going to be for entertainment purposes only. Come on down. You're already down. Move my crystals. Strength card. They're being fed a bitter pill to swallow. They're not showing strength. They're showing subservience, which, you know, Donald Trump is the master of the GOP. He forces them to swallow things that you would never think a conservative would swallow, but he's so good at it. And it's all about money. You know, it's not only Trump that's doing it, it's the masters of the GOP. The people that bring in the money, the people with the purse strings, they want their tax breaks. And the Republicans are bought and paid for in the Senate. The problem with the tariffs is it affects working people. And that's not who the senators care about. They care about wealthy people. Now, it's the working people that put them in office, but it's the wealthy people that fund their campaigns. And now they have to screw over the hardworking people who supported them and hope that these hardworking people give them the benefit of the doubt 2 to 4 years from now. In the past, we've got the Lover's card. The Senate has... The Republicans are holding the Senate. People have been supporting them. They're in that power. They've had a myth of being longer term. They looked further down the road, but that's kind of not there anymore. Current situation is the Two of Coins. They're losing power and influence. They don't like... If you were to ask them in private if you had a secret vote, I think they would vote to overturn the tariffs. But they can't because they're in the thrall of Donald and very wealthy people. They don't like what's going on with this. But they're also stuck. They don't know what to do. Look at all the money that's involved here. Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Pentacles. But they're mercenaries. They took the money. They took the money. They took the money. Now that you got the money, you got to do the distasteful stuff. Have your name associated with it. Lesson to be learned. You wanted to be up here as a senator getting all this money. And now you're keeping all the money. This is trickle-down economics. You keep all the money up top and it only a little bit trickles down to the poor. And now this guy doesn't even get any. All the money. This Senate, especially the Republicans in the Senate, they're all about the money and the wealthy people who control them. Outcome is the Moon card. I do think, though, that there's going to be a point I don't know what a bridge too far looks like for them. Secrets revealed, crazy behaviors, continued crazy behaviors, out of their mind. It's just the vibe, the kind of what I get from it is it's going to continue, but it's going to end badly for them. The problem is on whose timeline? What's the urgency of the timeline? Basically, if you were to look back that with tariffs, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but they're doing it because Trump wants it, the billionaires want it, and they know it's going to devastate a lot of poor people. And they don't know how it's all going to play out. Although I suspect many of them are intelligent to understand that it's going to weaken America. But they don't care. They care more about their personal enrichment and keeping their donors happy because their donors keep them in money. So they get to be part of the nobility class, as it were, while the rest of us get to be the peasants. What happens if Donald Trump is no longer in power? He dies. He is removed from office. He flees from office. He's out of office for whatever reason. It could be 4 years in the future. What happens to these tariffs in Congress once Donald Trump is no longer a player in this equation? Ace of Swords, Sword of Truth. Well, they may not be empowered to do anything at that point. The Hermit card. Knight of Cups. Oh, they finally come around. The Chariot. And the Page of Coins. Yeah, I think by the time Donald Trump is no longer around, basically the revolution has come at that point. It's like driven by young people. There's new people in charge. And at this point, the Republicans are like, oh, we never really liked those ideas. Maybe we could do something in a bipartisan fashion. But people now know who they are. They've revealed themselves for who they are. And I think one by one, they'll be thrown under the bus and trampled over. Even the ones that come out and support these things later on, it won't be forgotten who they were when the problems were actually happening. The problem is, will we still have a country when that day comes? Not trying to be pessimistic, but it's just sort of like oh, it'll all be right in the end. Yeah, sure. What's the car going to look like as you crash down the mountainside with no brakes and you're leaning into the rocky face of the wall? Yeah, you might go off the road and go crashing down, but you might survive it. How's the car going to look? What's the damage going to look like? How are you going to get back to the main road when you're 200 feet down below it and broken and bloodied? I'm just a ray of sunshine today, aren't I? Okay. All right, Spirit. Since I am such a freaking ball of happiness here, how about you blow some sunshine up my skirt and tell me what's the good stuff that's going to come out of this? What's the silver lining? What's the pot of gold at the end of this rainbow of this shitstorm that we're in? Think I could be a little more negative and sarcastic in my asking? No, seriously. What's the silver lining here? How about giving us a little bit of hope? One car comes popping out. Be patient, young grasshopper. You are talking to somebody whose patience has run out a long time ago. I can be one of the most patient, impatient people you will ever meet. I'm patient until I'm not. I'm not patient anymore. We had patience. I've given up on patience. Patient. Be patient. Wealth has to do with people who are wealthy and patience with that. People of action coming in. Working people. Looking towards the future. And destitution. While the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, people will finally start waking up. The working man, the unions, they're going to wake up, start taking action, and claiming back their future. Basically, not enough people are awake yet. We have to suffer. Apparently, they need to suffer a little bit more, and they're going to take us along with them for the ride. We're already awake. We've suffered enough. We don't want to suffer anymore. But these nitwits, they keep hitting the frickin' snooze bar. This is the damage that Fox, OAN, and Newsmax have done to this country, courtesy of Vladimir Putin, and amplified by one political party. And we get to go through all this. And until a certain group of people stop believing the propaganda and start believing what they're actually seeing in the world. Yeah. Anyways, we'll leave it there. Nice and short. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.